Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhajakacharya Ostatir Sacha Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhajakacharya Ostatir Sacha Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Gaudi Vaishnavinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Shikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki. Jagannath Subhadra Balaram Ki. Yamuna Mayi Ki. Ganga Mayi Ki. Tulsi Devi Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki. Divine Appearance Day of Lord Nityananda Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Okay, today is 494, right? So 494, 4th canto, 9th chapter, 4th verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sa tam vivikshantam atad vidam harir yatvasya sarvasya cha Ridi avashtitaha kritanjalim brahmamayena kambuna parsa balam kripaya kapole satam vivikshana matad vidam harir Yatvasya sarvasachari diyavashtitam kritanjalim brahma mayena kambuna parsa balam kripaya kapole Satam vivikshantam atadvidam harir Gyatvasya sarvasya chaudidi avashtitaha Kritam jalim brahmamayena kambuna Parsha balam kripaya kapole Satam vivikshantam atadvidam harir Gyatvasya sarvasya charidi avashtitaha Kritam jalim brahmamayena kambuna parsha balam kripaya kapole satam vivikshantam atadvidam harir Gatvasya sarvasya charidi avashtita Kritam jalim brahma mayena bakambuna. Parsya balam kripaya kapole. Repeat. Here. Satam vivakshantam vidam. Oh dear. Kitam chalim brahma mayena kambuna. Parsparsa balam kripaya kapole. Satam vivakshantam atad vidam harir. Vasitaha. Itam jalim brahmayena kambuna. Parsparsha balam kripaya kapole. Yeah. Others? No? Sa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's a lot from one small word, isn't it? Tam, Dhruva Maharaj. Vivik Shantam, wanting to offer prayers, describing his pastimes. Atat Vidam, not experienced that. Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No, it's just the personality of Godhead. That's why Hari is the personality of Godhead, and Sa is the Supreme Personality. Okay. Gyatva, having understood. Asya, of Dhruva Maharaj. Or as they'd say it here, Asya. Somehow they do that here, with the Asha. Nowhere else but in South Africa they go, Asha. Where did that come from? Huh? Somebody started it and they just kept doing it? I've never heard anywhere else in the world, but they sing Bando movies, Dan, Shah, but they sing Shah here. Huh? You don't? Okay. Asya of Dhruva Maharaj. Sarvasya of everyone. Cha and Ridi in the heart. Avashtitaha, being situated. Krita Anjalim, situated with folded hands. Brahma Mayana, just consistent with the words of Vedic hymns. Kambuna, with his conch shell. Parsparsa, touched. Balim, the boy. Kripaya, out of his causeless mercy. Kapole, on the forehead. Now we know what a kapole is. Translation. Although Dhruva Maharaj was a small boy, he wanted to offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in suitable language. But because he was inexperienced, he could not adjust himself immediately. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, being situated in everyone's heart, could understand Dhruva Maharaj's awkward position. Out of his causeless mercy, he touched his conch shell to the forehead of Dhruva Maharaj, who stood before him with folded hands. Repeat after me. Although Dhruva Maharaj was a small boy, he wanted to offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in suitable language. But because he was inexperienced, he could not adjust himself immediately. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, being situated in everyone's heart, could understand Dhruva Maharaj's awkward position. Out of his causeless mercy, he touched his conch shell to the forehead of Dhruva Maharaj, who stood before him with folded hands. Purport. Every devotee wants to chant the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Devotees are always interested in hearing about the Lord's transcendental qualities, and they are always eager to glorify these qualities. But sometimes they feel inconvenienced by humbleness. The personality of Godhead, being situated in everyone's heart, specifically gives the devotee intelligence to describe him. It is therefore understood that when a devotee writes or speaks about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his words are dictated by the Lord from within. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter. To those who are constantly engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord from within dictates what to do next in order to serve him. When Dhruva Maharaj felt hesitant, not knowing how to describe the Lord for want of sufficient experience, the Lord, out of causeless mercy, touched his conch shell to Dhruva's forehead, and he was transcendentally inspired. This transcendental inspiration is called Brahma Maya, because when one is thus inspired, the sound he produces exactly corresponds to the sound vibration of the Vedas. This is not the ordinary sound vibration of the material world. For the sound vibration of the Hare Krishna mantra, although presented in the ordinary alphabet, should not be taken as mundane or material. Interesting point there. Who knows who is speaking this? It says, although Dhruva Maharaj was a small boy, he wanted to offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Start from some of the newer people. Who knows who's speaking this? Raise your hand if you know who's speaking this. Do you? Who's saying this? What is it? Yes. Maitreya. Was he there? Are you sure? Is he right? Is it Maitreya? You're not sure? What would you say? Yes or no? What's that? You got to give an answer, yes or no?
I don't know.
You don't know. That's not an answer. Is it Maitreya or is it not? Anybody else? What is it? Are you sure? She's right, and so are you. It is Maitreya. Maitreya is speaking this to Vidura. Sanjaya was not on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, was he? But could he see it? Just like with the television? But the difference was that when he's explaining this to Vidura, or when Sanjaya is explaining it to Dhritarashtra, it doesn't interrupt with commercials like the YouTube does. Sometimes you'll be watching even a devotional talk, and it's interrupted with a commercial about something else. You get that ever? Yes? Yes, a commercial comes in. So one can have the spiritual vision to see what is going on somewhere else. This is what the Tattvadarshan does. He is able to see God, and he is able to see God's plan. And because of that, he can see what's going on there. So he was inexperienced and could not adjust himself. I feel that way. I'm not a small boy anymore, but spiritually I feel that way. But out of causeless mercy, Krishna can help us. That's what I like with speaking, because Krishna has to help us. And sometimes I remember what Prabhupada said. He said that, please make me dance, make me dance. He's writing this on the Jaladuta. Make me give the message to others. But if you want to make me look like a fool, that's all right also, if that's your desire. So we think like that when we're going to speak. We shouldn't be afraid. If Krishna wants to make us look like a fool, well, that's okay then. Because there's plenty of fools in the world. We can just enjoy being one of the fools, right? Instead of thinking that we're so great, right? We can just think we're one of the fools. We find this, that sometimes somebody was saying, it was the African devotee was telling somebody that about some of the problems they were experiencing, not being accepted. And a person says, well, don't you know who I am? And this is not the way to think, because we are simply insignificant. Prabhupada said that to one devotee in Los Angeles. He says the material universe is 1/4 of creation, and in each, Mahavishnu lets out millions of universes, and in this universe there's many planets. One of them is Earth, and there's many countries, and in these countries there's many cities, and in Los Angeles there's many buildings, and you're sitting in this one building on one particular floor, and yet you think somehow you're very important. When we think of the total cosmic creation, when we read in the Chaitanya Charitamrita how big one of the Vaikuntha planets is, it's like trillions of miles. It's maybe bigger even than the Milky Way. Does someone know how big the Milky Way is? 150 million light years. And a light year is like 9 trillion kilometers. So 9 trillion times 150 million, what does that come to? 150 million, so it comes to times 9, it comes to 9. It comes to almost a quadrillion, about a quadrillion times a million, so that's a quintillion, which is 5. Quintillion is 5, and a sextillion is 6. So it's 150 sextillion kilometers. Is that a long ways away? Yes? 1,000, million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion, septillion. So that's 150 with 21 zeros. It's that many kilometers. And the Vaikuntha planets are bigger than that. So that's why the things are so far away. They're so big. But yet Krishna can appear in a second. How is that possible? Things that we don't see. They say that if you can't see it, then it can't exist. If that's true, then your cell phone and the computer can't work, because it goes into cyberspace and somehow it goes on your phone. It's just like I've seen people with they call up and talk. They want to talk to their dog, and the dog is looking in the phone to try to figure out where the person is. And they can't figure out how they're not there, looking in the phone and behind the phone and looking around. Like, how are they talking to me and they're not here? How is this even possible? So the dogs don't believe in that, That's why dogs don't create and buy cell phones. They don't understand the technology of it. So this is the key that's given here in the purport, is that we want to glorify the Lord's pastimes. We want to understand the nama, the guna, the rupa, and the lila of the four, the name, the form, the quality, and the pastimes. Because we find that these are absolute. That between the name, the form, the quality, and the pastimes, which one of those is important? Which one? Isn't the form and the quality and the pastimes important? It was a trick question. They're all important. They all go together. They don't appear. The form, the quality, and the pastimes. But do we study those? Does the form appear when that curtain opens? When a pure devotee is there, does he see a statue or does he see Krishna? He sees Krishna. So they want to glorify the name and form and the quality and the pastimes. So how has it been given to us to be able to glorify the name, the form, the quality, and the pastimes of the Lord? How can we do that? Well, we glorify the name through kirtan, singing, and through japa. The form, we have the deities. We have pictures around. How many pictures are up here? 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 35 plus how many up there? About 8. How many are up there? 8 plus 1 in the middle. So that's 9 and 35. So that's 44. Are we all for that? Are we? And they have different pastimes of the Lord in there. The one that's missing, I don't know where it went, but there used to be one. I think it was a bigger one too. But it was Krishna taking lunch with the cowherd boys and he was in the middle. Where did that go? What? Where Krishna is speaking Gita? Yes? It used to be there. Where did it go? Far too old. Like me? Now there's people older than me. What is it? Sevakunja's 92. He's like 22 years older than me. Hopefully I'll be able to come here when I'm 92, huh? That'll be like 22 more years, huh? So we glorify all those, the name, the form, the quality, and the pastimes, because we have pictures of the form here. The qualities of Krishna are given in the Nectar of Devotion. It gives 50 qualities that living entities have partially and Krishna has in full. It has another 10 that Vishnu has that we don't have. Does anybody know some of those qualities? Can anyone name one? I'll say some, you say if they're correct or not. The Supreme Controller, is that one? Ever fresh, all cognizant, expert at speculating. Is that one? No? Are these the process of devotional service? Nindanam, prajalpanam, and speculatanam, and imaginationam? Are those the processes? Or this is the process of imagination-nam? Those are parts of it. Nindanam is fault finding. Procrastinatanam, that's waiting to do it later. But those are not the process. So he has all mystic potencies. He has all yogic perfections. Universes come from his body. Anybody have universes come from their body? No? You're sure? He gives salvation to the enemies he kills. He's the attractor of all liberated souls, and he's the source of all incarnations. These are obviously qualities that Vishnu has. being infallible. And Krishna even has some other qualities. Does anybody know one of these qualities that Krishna has that Vishnu doesn't have? Which one? He plays the flute. Vishnu doesn't play the flute? Doesn't Rama play the flute? You're sure? What else? He has especially beautiful, but isn't Vishnu beautiful? But he's the most perfect. It's like Krishna is perfect in Dwarka, more perfect in Mathura, and most perfect in Vrindavan. So his beautiful form, what else does he have? Super excellent pastimes. Yes, Leela Madhuri is called. He has a super excellent pastimes. And would this one with Dhruva Maharaj be one of the super excellent pastimes? Would it? So it's not. It's still pretty excellent, but it's not super excellent. And from that comes a special kind of love, because in that they just forget that Krishna is God. But Dhruva Maharaj is not forgetting that he's God. He comes in this form of Prishni Garbha. And he touches them with one of his 4 symbols. Who knows one of the 4 symbols that Vishnu has? A conch? Anyone know another one from the ladies' side? What does Vishnu hold? What is it? A chakra, yes? And then is there a hammer? A sickle? Hammer and a sickle? Isn't that a symbol somewhere? Oh no, that was a communist. Farming and manufacturing. So we have a conch shell. Was that it? And we have a disc. Anything else? A club. And what else? A lotus flower. And so Vishnu comes and touches Dhruva Maharaj with the lotus flower, right? No. Which one was it? A mace? Smack. Does Krishna touch some of them with a mace? Was Krishna asked to give up his symbols? Did he give up one of his symbols to someone who demanded it? Who was that? As Pandraka came with the fake symbols, and Krishna's laughing, he had the fake, like, extra arms, like, on that were fake arms, and he says to Krishna, you should give up your 4 symbols. He says, all right, I'll give them up, starting with the chakra. Here it comes, be careful. So I think Pandraka sort of lost his head, didn't he? Who else lost their head? Seshupada lost his head. Who else lost their head? The washerman did, didn't he? In Mathura. Krishna hit him in the neck and he lost his head. But haven't we all lost our heads if we're not surrendering to Krishna? So he was saying this, that how we can get this. Krishna says in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Tesham satatam yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they come to me. So is that how you all perform your life? You're constantly devoted and worship Krishna with love? They try. I know sometimes I get stuck between the past and the future, but miss out on the present if I'm not careful. The present is happening now, but I think of how things were before and how things might be later. But we have to utilize each situation as a chance, right? I mean, when things are wonderful in Vrindavan, and it's a special time of Kartik, or like when I'll be in Mayapur, and the whole GBC body will be there, and they'll have the ISKCON Leadership Sangha. Is that a good opportunity to develop love for Krishna? If I get stuck alone in South Africa at a young age with a big debt, that's the opposite, right? No association. difficulties, so that couldn't be an opportunity, could it? It could? Could it be an opportunity? We don't usually like it that way. Generally, people don't pray for difficulties. But who prayed for difficulties? Who was it? Kunti did. Why did she pray for difficulties? Because when difficulties were there, Krishna was there. So that's the whole key. If Krishna's there, everything's okay. And if Krishna's not there, things are not okay. So even if things appear to be bad, somehow... But we have to remember to do the work ourselves. Sometimes when things are not going right, people think, oh, well, it's Krishna's mercy. It's like one time, the one girl in the charged Namrita, she put the salt. And he says, who has made this charged Amrita with salt? And the one girl says, I did. He says, why did you put salt in? And she says, Krishna's mercy. Do you think Prabhupada was happy with that? No, he says, no, that's not Krishna's mercy, that's your stupidity. So we can't do something wrong and then say it's Krishna's mercy, right? People think this way, we'll blame it on Krishna. Like they do with Jesus, they say, well, one guy's asked a friend, where's the money you owe me? And he says, well, I asked Jesus to forgive me. He said, well, you should have borrowed the money from Jesus then. So could we do this? If I mistreat someone, I just ask Jesus to forgive me and everything's okay? It's not? I just borrow money from you and then ask Jesus to forgive me. And then I'll try that with others too. It works so well. Does that sound good? Let Jesus repay them? No. This is not the Tesham Satadam Yuktanam Bhajadam Priti Purvakam. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love. We find we do that, everything becomes okay. We find we don't do that, everything doesn't become okay. And so we have to have, just like at the Mayapur, they'll be having this strategic planning missions, is we have to have a strategic plan for our temple. We have to have a strategic plan for our life. I think my strategic plan is a little weak right now, wondering quite where I belong and where, part of the time in America and part in India and part here. But I think South Africa could improve its strategic plan too, yes? Is it not true? Could they not improve their strategic plan here? Of what's going on? That's what Prahladananda Swami, he says he got the book from, there's this one Christian preacher named Rick Warren. He has a church called the Saddleback Church. And he started just in a tent, and they kept wanting to have a big temple. And he says, no, we don't need it yet. And finally, when he says, all right, we can do it now. They needed to raise $15 million. Within a few weeks, they raised $20 million. And they built the big Saddleback megachurch. And what they do there is that when people come, they greet them. They greet new people. And they talk to them, let them come in and watch it a little bit. Because it's good to have greeters here. Do you have greeters that greet people when they come?
Sometimes they have devotees doing it, but
It's not consistent. It's a good idea because are people afraid of being included or excluded when they come to a church? Which one? Actually, it's both. First, they're afraid of being excluded because they might think, well, these are all Hindi people. Someone said that to Bhakti Chaitanya Swami. He said, well, this is for Hindi people. He says, do I look like a Hindi person to you? So they think it's for someone else and they couldn't come. But they're even more afraid of being included because you'll go to some churches and like in the front, they'll talk to you for 5 minutes and say, okay, now you want to join our church and promise never to go to any other church ever? And you think, well, can I see a service first? Or maybe read one of your literatures? So people are afraid of being both extra included and extra excluded. They're afraid no one will talk to them, and they're afraid someone will talk to them. So you kind of have to find out something about them, let them know what goes on. You tell them we have different places. You can come and sit on cushions in the front. You can sit on the benches in the back. You can stand back there and just watch from a distance. We don't close the door and lock it. I think it's the est or something. You know, close the door and lock it, and nobody can get out till the session is over. But as soon as they do that, I have to pee immediately, right? As soon as they lock that door and I can't get out, then immediately my brain says, oh, you're going to have to go and pass water. So we don't do that. That door doesn't get locked and lock people in, right? So this is what Vishnu came to see Dhruva Maharaj. The Lord dictates within. It said that Krishna sanctions all actions, but if someone turns towards to him, then he guides them. You know, and sometimes our path is more clear, and other times it's a little disrupted. It's funny, I feel like at this point, you know, my plan of life is I used to live in Laguna Beach, and now we moved to Long Beach, which is in between LA and Laguna, and sometimes I'm in Vrindavan. I didn't get to go anywhere for COVID, so my traveling plan was done. So I'm not quite sure where I belong, and with a few health issues, not quite sure what I can handle. But we have to turn to Krishna in any kind of circumstance we're in to see how Krishna can guide us to the next step of what we can do. Later today, we're going to speak about the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. What will you be speaking about? What is it? Nityananda. And he came before Lord Chaitanya. They came in the Panchatattva. How do the appearance days come in order? Which appearance day is first? Which one? Advaita. Then who? Then who? Then who? No, Srivas. Gadadhar's later. Srivas is just like maybe, you know, just it's like 6 days till Nityananda's, and then it's a long time until it's how far off till Gaur Purnima is like on the 7th of March, so it's about 30, no, it'd be 28 minus 3, so it's 25, about 32 days. When we use the lunar calendar, how many days are there in a month? 28. No, 28. There's 28 lunar days. How do you get 29? Oh, by Western there's 29.16. Because how long is the solar day? 20 what? Yeah, how long is the day? 12? The whole day, day and night. 24. And how about a lunar? From sunrise to sunrise is 24 hours. From moonrise to moonrise is how many hours? 25. So the moon rises an hour later every single day. You're going to calculate it. So you get 28 lunar days in a month. That's why that works better. And people are always trying to fit it in. They have there's 29.16 solar days in a month. But they try to make it enough so that it fits in with the year. But the month has nothing to do with the year. The month is the moon going around the earth. The year is the sun the earth going around the sun. And the day is the time it takes for the planet to turn. Like on the planet Venus, it takes 240 of our days to get 1 day. It goes that slow, so it must be a heavenly planet. That's like about 8 months, right? One of their days is 8 months of ours. But one of their years is 225 days of ours. So a year there is shorter than a day. Can you imagine that? A year is shorter than a day. Yeah, you could be 16 years old and you'd only be 15 days old. Is that amazing or what? At 16 years, you would be 15 days old. So it's a whole different system. So the good part is that when Krishna comes, he can give us this mercy regardless of our situation. And the spiritual master can help us out. It's like Prabhupada wrote to me. He says, I am praying to Krishna that you will have the strength and enthusiasm to carry out this mission. Because I got a little more determined afterwards. But when Rishi Kumar left me alone here, and all of a sudden I found the note saying decided to split, did I feel like my life was more organized and in tune or less? Less, because all of a sudden I'm there to assist the Swami and to collect money, and the Swami's gone and so is the money. So now I'm down on money and down on sannyasis, right? But he still left the debt. He didn't take it. He said, don't worry about the debt to the book fund. That wasn't in there. It just said decided to split. Didn't say anything about taking money or the debt or what else I should do. Just decided to split. That was all the explanation I got. And so I had to come up with some plan of what to do next. So, we have to simultaneously work with the authorities, but we come up with plans. One of the times you come up with plans is like when you're distributing books. What is it the one devotee does? He says, do you want to be in a YouTube video? And then he asks them certain spiritual questions and what they think of it. And then it says, oh, I have these books here that go along with this. And he gets people like to be in the video somehow. People say they want to take so many pictures now and videos. I hardly ever take the pictures. But other people take them and post them. But he does books that way. Or they think of different things to say to people. They did some training when it was Tripurari and some of the others, but quite often people come up with their own ways of getting people to take books. Or do they do a training course on books here? Do they? He did come. When? Before COVID? Must be more than a couple. That would be during COVID. During COVID? Oh. How long did he stay here? What? To what? Cape Town? Huh. And did that help people improve? It must have been more like 5-6 years ago, right? And how long did he stay here at this temple? Any idea? Did you go to some of the courses? You went? You weren't here? Anybody else here? Yes? Did it help a lot?
Yeah.
What did he tell you to do?
He was speaking about different strategies. So one of them was the telethon. You also mentioned that. So
Yes.
I used that.
How does that work?
You gather a few devotees together online, and while you're live, you get them to form 5 or 6 of the contacts, or as many as they can. You give them a time limit, 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Call as many as you can, and get pledges. Do that. It's quite successful.
People that contacts that they got on Sankirtan, or people they know, or what?
Just randomly, anyone on your contact list is called.
Hmm.
If you're not there, skip it for the next one.
Interesting. And what do they say? The people when you're trying to get people on the contact list to.
What do you say to the people?
Yes.
We say that we have a little script that belongs to the Hare Krishna movement. We're distributing this very valuable information help them. So
Mhm.
how many of these Bhagavad Gita pledge?
And
It costs so much.
then do they pick them up, or then you give them out?
Some say they want it, then we deliver. Others say you distribute it.
Yes. Interesting. Yeah, I know, like one girl in Laguna Beach who isn't a devotee said she'd given Bhagavad Gitas to several different people. Some of them she thought would be interested and they weren't, but some of them were. I remember a few years ago when I sponsored one person says, yeah, I lost my Bhagavad Gita as it is, and I was hoping I could get a new one, and you showed up with one for the... But this year I was here at Christmas time. See, I don't know what my plan for me is supposed to be. It was almost a COVID and lockdown. My plan was just to chant lots of rounds. So sometimes when things get really difficult or really easy, the plan is there. But when things become then there's a little of both. Sometimes it's harder because you wonder, should you stay in one place? Should you do something? And it's a little harder for me to distribute books now. I used to sell paintings and real estate and things like that, but it's a little harder now to get people's attention and explain to them the whole... Books is the hardest, I think, actually, because you really have to...
It's very successful.
How are you so successful?
Won a marathon.
Yes. She did more than any of those teams did in number of books. But maybe they did Gitas and she did little ones, I don't know. How are you so successful? You take a gun with you? You have to, what? Good associate. You give them your good association. Is that it? Oh. Oh. So what do you say to them? If they what? You just ask them if they want a book? Wow. Because usually you do stuff like when I sold, what I did is I had 2 sets of books. One of them was, the rand was worth 25 times what it is now. So a 25 rand set and the 40 rand set were more like 375 rand. No, 25. The 40 rand set would